The rich and diverse history of Native American tribes is filled with triumphs, tragedies, and stories that have shaped not only their own communities, but the wider fabric of the United States. While some aspects of Native American life have been more widely documented, there remain lesser known truths that can be shocking, eye opening, and deeply compelling. In this third part of our series on 9 unknown facts about Native American tribes, we delve into topics that uncover both the painful legacy and incredible resilience of these peoples. From the high rates of self harm to their role in popularizing sports like lacrosse, Native Americans have a complex and storied past that continues to inform their present. Did you know that Native Americans face some of the highest rates of self harm and suicide in the United States? Mental health crises, including depression and substance abuse, are rampant in Native communities. These alarming statistics are often linked to historical trauma, a form of psychological damage passed through generations due to the lasting effects of colonization, displacement, forced assimilation, and cultural eradication. The marginalization of Native Americans has contributed to many modern-day struggles, with inadequate access to health care, poverty, and systemic discrimination exacerbating these issues. But despite these hardships, Native Americans continue to contribute immensely to the cultural fabric of the nation. Take, for example, the sport of lacrosse. While many people are familiar with this fast-paced, dynamic game, fewer are aware that it was originally played by Native American tribes such as the Iroquois. Lacrosse was more than just a sport. It was a ceremonial event, a means of resolving conflict, and a way to honor their gods. Its modern-day popularity across the globe is a testament to the lasting impact of Native American traditions on mainstream culture. In this latest chapter, we invite you to explore more unexpected facts about Native American tribes. Their histories and contributions are far more vast and intricate than many might realize. As we dive deeper into these hidden truths, you'll discover both heartbreaking and uplifting stories that showcase the strength, resilience, and ingenuity of Native peoples. One of the most pressing issues facing Native Americans today is the mental health crisis plaguing their communities. Statistics show that Native Americans have the highest rates of suicide and self-harm compared to any other ethnic group in the United States. These tragedies are often linked to the collective trauma experienced over generations. Colonization, forced relocation, and the devastating impact of boarding schools that sought to erase Native culture have left deep emotional scars. Generational trauma manifests in a variety of ways, but one of the most damaging is through mental health challenges that continue to persist today. Many Native communities lack access to adequate mental health services, leaving them ill-equipped to handle these crises. Poverty, addiction, and a sense of cultural displacement exacerbate the issue, with many Native youth feeling disconnected from their heritage and unsure of their place in modern society. Despite these challenges, there is hope. Native communities are working tirelessly to address mental health through culturally sensitive approaches that blend traditional healing practices with modern therapeutic techniques. Programs that emphasize the importance of reconnecting with cultural roots are proving successful in helping Native youth reclaim their identity and build resilience in the face of adversity. The disturbing history of forced sterilization. In the mid-20th century, many Native American women were victims of a horrific policy of forced sterilization. During the 1960s and 1970s, thousands of Native women were sterilized without their knowledge or consent, as part of a broader eugenics movement that sought to control population growth among minority groups. These sterilizations were carried out under the guise of health care, with women often being told the procedures were reversible or that they were necessary for their well-being. The reality, however, was much more sinister. Sterilization is a permanent procedure that prevents a person from having children, a decision that should only be made after thorough consultation and with full understanding of the consequences. For Native women, many of whom were of childbearing age, this choice was taken from them. Estimates suggest that anywhere from 25% to 42% of Native women were sterilized during this period, with the goal of reducing the native population in what can only be described as a gross violation of human rights. This dark chapter in Native American history is often overlooked, yet it remains a powerful example of how Native peoples were subjected to violent, racist policies under the guise of progress and healthcare. The scars left by these atrocities are still felt today, as many Native women continue to struggle with the emotional and physical repercussions of forced sterilization. Native contributions to modern sports. Beyond the struggles and injustices they've faced, Native Americans have made significant contributions to modern culture, including sports. Lacrosse, now a widely popular sport, has its origins in Native American traditions. The game, originally called stickball, was played by tribes across North America, with the Iroquois being among its earliest practitioners. Far from being a mere recreational activity, lacrosse had spiritual and social significance for Native Americans. It was used to settle disputes, build unity within tribes, and honor the Creator. The game was often played over vast distances, sometimes lasting for days, and involved hundreds of players. The modern version of lacrosse, with its fast pace and intense competition, owes much to these early traditions. Today, lacrosse is recognized as one of the fastest-growing sports in the world, and Native Americans, particularly the Iroquois, continue to be among its most respected players and ambassadors. Native American code talkers, unsung heroes of World War II. During World War II, Native Americans played a crucial, yet often underappreciated role in securing victory for the Allies. The Navajo Code Talkers, a group of Native American soldiers, developed an unbreakable code based on their native language, which they used to transmit vital military communications. The Navajo language, which was not written down at the time and known only to the Navajo people, proved to be an impenetrable code that the Axis powers were unable to decipher. The work of the Code Talkers was instrumental in several key battles, including the Battle of Iwo Jima, where their quick and accurate communication helped the U.S. forces secure victory. Despite their critical contributions, many Code Talkers returned home to little recognition or reward, as their work remained classified for decades after the war. Today, however, their legacy is being honored, with monuments, films, and books dedicated to their bravery and ingenuity. The resurgence of native languages. Many Native American languages were on the brink of extinction following centuries of cultural suppression. Boarding schools, where Native children were forbidden to speak their languages, nearly eradicated many indigenous tongues. However, recent efforts to revitalize these languages have seen remarkable success. Tribes across North America are reclaiming their linguistic heritage with programs aimed at teaching native languages to younger generations. Language is more than just a means of communication. It's a vital connection to culture, history, and identity. For many Native communities, the resurgence of their languages represents a resurgence of their culture and a reclaiming of their heritage. Programs such as immersion schools, where children are taught entirely in their native languages, are helping to ensure that these languages will be spoken for generations to come. Native American art, a timeless tradition. Art has always been an integral part of Native American culture. From pottery and weaving to painting and sculpture, Native artists have used their craft to express their connection to the land, their spirituality, and their communities. Native American art is deeply symbolic, often incorporating themes of nature, animals, and the spirit world. Today, Native artists continue to produce work that is both deeply rooted in tradition and highly innovative. Their art is being recognized on a global stage, with Native artists gaining acclaim in galleries, museums, and art shows around the world. The resilience of Native art is a testament to the enduring strength and creativity of Native peoples. The history and culture of Native American tribes are filled with stories of both hardship and triumph. By learning more about their contributions, struggles, and resilience, we gain a deeper understanding of the profound impact Native Americans have had on the development of the United States. As we uncover these hidden truths, it's essential to recognize the importance of preserving Native culture, language, and history. Their stories are not just a part of the past, but continue to shape the present and future of Native communities across the country. In conclusion, These 9 unknown facts about Native American tribes highlight both the challenges they have faced and the incredible strength they have demonstrated throughout history. From the harrowing experience of forced sterilization to the cultural resurgence of native languages and art, the story of Native Americans is one of resilience, resistance, and remarkable achievement. Imagine being a 15-year-old girl going in for what you believe will be a routine appendectomy, only to wake up and find out that your uterus has been removed or your reproductive tubes have been blocked, all without your consent or knowledge. This scenario, while horrifying to contemplate, was a brutal reality for many Native American women during a dark chapter in U.S. history. These women were not only subjected to forced sterilizations, but were also stripped of their reproductive rights and their ability to make personal decisions about their bodies and families. The damage inflicted by these practices extended far beyond the physical. The emotional and psychological toll left deep, lasting scars that affected not only the individuals, but also their communities and the cultural continuity of Native peoples. The impact of these forced procedures rippled through generations. Many of these women had dreams of becoming mothers, of raising children, and passing on their heritage, traditions, and values. Yet, these dreams were shattered in an instant. The trauma was compounded by the fact that these procedures were often performed under the guise of medical necessity or through deceit. Women were frequently coerced or misled, with doctors either failing to inform them about the procedure or disguising it as a routine medical intervention. The violation of trust was profound, and the sense of helplessness and betrayal left many struggling to rebuild their lives. This disruption extended beyond individual lives to entire communities. In Native American cultures, the role of women as life givers is deeply revered. Family and kinship structures form the backbone of many Native societies, and the ability to bear children is not just a personal right, but a communal one. The forced sterilizations, therefore, were not just a violation of bodily autonomy, but also an attack on the cultural fabric of Native American life. By limiting the ability of these women to have children, the U.S. government and medical establishments were effectively curtailing the growth and sustainability of Native populations. It was a form of cultural erasure, a method of diminishing the strength and continuity of these communities. In response to these atrocities, advocacy groups have been working tirelessly to raise awareness and demand justice. Legal battles have been fought, and some victories have been won, with the U.S. government acknowledging its role in these horrific practices. However, the fight for full reparations and justice continues. Many of the victims have yet to see any form of compensation, and the emotional and physical scars remain long after the procedures ended. The road to healing is long and fraught with obstacles, but the resilience of these women and their communities offers hope. This fight for justice is not just about acknowledging past wrongs, it's about ensuring that such violations never happen again. It's about empowering Native women to reclaim their autonomy, to be able to make decisions about their bodies and futures without fear of coercion or deceit. It's about honoring their strength and resilience in the face of overwhelming adversity. As awareness continues to grow, there is hope that the long-standing trauma caused by these forced sterilizations will one day be fully addressed, and that future generations will not have to endure the same injustices. Parallel to this fight for bodily autonomy is the story of another form of empowerment within Native American history, the development of the Cherokee written language. While the battle for reproductive rights underscores a loss of control and autonomy, the creation of a written language for the Cherokee people exemplifies a reclaiming of identity and agency. This monumental achievement was the brainchild of Sequoyah, a skilled Cherokee silversmith who, in the early 19th century, developed a system of writing for the Cherokee language. Sequoyah's journey was not an easy one. Born in the late 1700s in the town of Tuskegee, Tennessee, he grew up in a time when Native peoples were under increasing pressure from European settlers. Fascinated by how Europeans used symbols to communicate, Sequoyah began to wonder if a similar system could be developed for the Cherokee language. Without any formal education, and despite being ridiculed by many in his community, Sequoyah persisted in his efforts. His determination was fueled by a desire to empower his people, to give them a tool that would help them preserve their language, culture, and history. Initially, his ideas were met with skepticism and even hostility. Many Cherokee believed that a written language was unnecessary or impossible. Some saw Sequoyah's work as a waste of time, while others feared it would lead to the further erosion of their traditional ways of life. Despite these challenges, Sequoyah continued to refine his system, and after years of labor, he succeeded in creating a syllabary, a set of written symbols that represented the sounds of the Cherokee language. The significance of Sequoyah's achievement cannot be overstated. In a time when Native American cultures were under constant threat of erasure, the creation of a written language was a revolutionary act of preservation. It allowed the Cherokee people to record their laws, traditions, and stories in their own language, safeguarding them for future generations. The Cherokee syllabary became a symbol of resilience, a testament to the ingenuity and determination of Native peoples to maintain their cultural identity in the face of overwhelming adversity. The development of the Cherokee syllabary also had far-reaching implications for the Cherokee Nation. It facilitated the creation of a written constitution and legal system, which helped the Cherokee to strengthen their political organization and governance. The written language became a tool for education and communication, enabling the Cherokee to engage with the broader world on their own terms. Sequoyah's invention was not just a linguistic achievement, it was a means of empowerment, a way for the Cherokee to assert their sovereignty and resist the forces of assimilation. Today, the Cherokee syllabary is still in use, a living testament to Sequoyah's vision. It serves as a reminder of the importance of language in preserving cultural identity and the power of individuals to effect change, even in the face of seemingly insurmountable odds. Just as Native women today continue to fight for their reproductive rights, the legacy of Sequoyah's work is a reminder that the struggle for autonomy and self-determination is an ongoing one. The stories of Native American women and Sequoyah are intertwined by a common thread: the fight for control over one's own body and identity. Whether through the forced sterilizations of the 20th century or the creation of a written language in the 19th century, these narratives highlight the resilience of Native peoples in the face of systemic attempts to diminish their agency. They remind us of the importance of acknowledging past wrongs and the ongoing work needed to ensure justice, healing, and empowerment for future generations. As we reflect on these stories, it's essential to recognize the broader context in which they occur. Native American communities have long been subjected to policies and practices designed to undermine their sovereignty, from the forced removal of their lands to the suppression of their languages and cultural practices. Yet despite these efforts, Native peoples have consistently found ways to resist, adapt, and thrive. Their resilience is a testament to the strength of their cultures and the depth of their commitment to preserving their heritage. The forced sterilizations of Native women were part of a broader pattern of reproductive control imposed on marginalized communities in the U.S. Similar practices were carried out against African American women, Puerto Rican women, and women with disabilities, among others. These practices were rooted in racist and eugenicist ideologies that sought to control the population growth of certain groups deemed undesirable. The legacy of these practices continues to affect these communities today as they grapple with the long-term effects of trauma, loss, and disenfranchisement. In contrast, the story of Sequoyah and the Cherokee syllabary is a story of cultural survival and innovation. It is a reminder that even in the face of immense challenges, Native peoples have always found ways to assert their identity and resist erasure. Sequoyah's work is emblematic of the broader efforts of Native communities to maintain their languages, traditions, and ways of life in the face of ongoing colonialism. As we look to the future, it is crucial to continue supporting the efforts of Native communities to reclaim their rights, preserve their cultures, and seek justice for past wrongs. The fight for reproductive justice, language preservation, and cultural sovereignty are all interconnected, and they are all essential to ensuring the survival and thriving of Native peoples. Through education, advocacy, and solidarity, we can help to ensure that the voices of Native women, leaders, and communities are heard and respected. In conclusion, the stories of forced sterilizations and the creation of the Cherokee syllabary remind us of the ongoing struggle for autonomy and self-determination faced by Native peoples. They highlight the resilience, creativity, and strength of Native communities in the face of adversity. Whether through the fight for reproductive justice or the preservation of language and culture, Native peoples continue to resist the forces of erasure and assert their right to exist on their own terms. It is our responsibility to listen, learn, and support these efforts as we work toward a future where justice and empowerment are within reach for all. Sequoyah, a man of remarkable perseverance and vision, was undeterred by challenges that might have disheartened others. In the early 19th century, as the Cherokee people faced looming threats of cultural erasure and assimilation, Sequoyah embarked on an extraordinary journey, one that would transform his people's future. While others may have doubted, he remained steadfast in his belief that the Cherokee people needed their own written language to preserve their heritage. Working tirelessly alongside his daughter, Ioka, Sequoyah began experimenting with symbols that represented Cherokee syllables rather than individual sounds in an effort to create a written system that was uniquely suited to the structure of their spoken language. For 12 long years, Sequoyah worked in obscurity, meticulously developing what would become an 85-character syllabary. His unwavering commitment to his vision was tested time and again, especially when he faced accusations of witchcraft from those who did not understand his work. Yet his dedication never wavered, even in the face of opposition. The turning point came when Sequoyah's written system was put to the test, a test that would forever change the Cherokee Nation. Messages were exchanged in this newly developed written form, and its practicality and effectiveness were undeniable. Sequoyah's syllabary had proven its worth, and its potential to revolutionize communication among the Cherokee people was now clear for all to see. Soon, the Cherokee people, both young and old, were learning to read and write in their own language, and the impact on their society was profound. By 1825, the Cherokee Nation officially adopted Sequoyah's syllabary, a decision that would dramatically enhance the tribe's ability to document and preserve their history, culture, and traditions. It was a powerful tool that empowered the Cherokee people to maintain their identity in the face of external pressures. The timing of this achievement could not have been more critical. Just a few years later, the Cherokee Nation would face one of the darkest chapters in its history, the Trail of Tears, a brutal and forced removal from their ancestral lands. During this period of unimaginable hardship, the syllabary became a lifeline for the Cherokee people, allowing them to record their experiences and communicate across distances. With the help of Samuel Worcester, a missionary sympathetic to the Cherokee cause, the tribe acquired a printing press. In 1828, they launched the Cherokee Phoenix, the first bilingual newspaper in U.S. history. The newspaper featured articles in both English and Cherokee, serving as a powerful medium for the Cherokee people to voice their struggles and preserve their stories for future generations. Today, Sequoyah is revered as a cultural hero, and his syllabary remains a cherished symbol of Cherokee intellectual and cultural resilience. Moving to the Pacific Northwest, towering totem poles stand as enduring symbols of Native artistry and cultural heritage. These impressive monuments, some reaching heights of 15 to 20 meters, are far more than just decorative pieces. They are living legacies, sacred markers of history, spirituality, and identity for the tribes who carve them. Totem poles, created by tribes such as the Haida, Tlingit, and Kwakwaka'wakw, serve as visual representations of the tribe's stories, with each intricate carving embodying deep cultural meanings. Each figure carved into the wood tells a story, reflecting the tribe's lineage, beliefs, and social customs. These poles often serve as family or clan markers, signifying not only status but also connection to the spiritual world. Animals like the eagle, bear, and wolf frequently appear in these carvings, each imbued with symbolic meaning. The eagle, for instance, represents wisdom and freedom, soaring high above the earth with a keen perspective. The bear embodies strength and instinct, while the wolf symbolizes loyalty and intelligence, traits revered by the tribes who carve them. Totem poles also feature mythological beings whose stories are passed down through generations, preserving the tribe's oral history in a tangible form. Over time, totem pole creation has evolved, adapting to the modern world while maintaining its cultural essence. Today's carvers, armed with hand tools and guided by the traditions of their ancestors, continue this sacred craft, working primarily with cedar logs that have become synonymous with the art form. For these artisans, every stroke of the chisel is an act of cultural preservation, ensuring that the stories and values of their people endure through the ages. In a different chapter of Native American history, the bravery and ingenuity of the Navajo code talkers played a pivotal role in World War II. At a time when secure communication was crucial to the success of military operations, the U.S. military turned to the Navajo language, a language so complex and unique that it proved nearly impossible for enemies to decode. In 1942, the U.S. Marine Corps recruited the first group of Navajo men, training them to develop a code based on their language. Each Navajo word was assigned to a specific military term, creating a robust and unbreakable code that would become an invaluable asset in the war effort. Deployed to the Pacific, the Navajo code talkers played an essential role in some of the most significant battles of the war, including Iwo Jima and Okinawa. Their ability to quickly and securely relay sensitive information gave the U.S. military a strategic advantage, contributing to the success of many operations. Despite their extraordinary efforts, the contributions of the code talkers remained classified for decades after the war, their heroism hidden from the world. It wasn't until 1968 that their story was declassified, and in 2001, the original 29 code talkers were awarded the Congressional Gold Medal, a long overdue recognition of their service and dedication. For many Native American tribes, powwows are vibrant celebrations of culture, community, and spirituality. Rooted in ancient traditions, these gatherings bring together people from different tribes to honor their customs through music, dance, and sacred ceremonies. Powwows are more than just social events. They are deeply spiritual experiences, connecting participants with their ancestors and reaffirming their cultural identity. At the heart of every powwow is the steady beat of the drums, accompanied by traditional songs that have been passed down through generations. The dancers, adorned in intricate regalia, perform with grace and power, each movement reflecting the unique traditions of their tribe. The regalia worn by the dancers is rich with symbolism, often telling personal stories of achievement, heritage, and spiritual connection. Though powwows are joyous celebrations filled with laughter and camaraderie, they also carry profound spiritual significance. The grand entry, for instance, is a solemn moment when participants enter the arena in procession, symbolizing a reconnection with their ancestors. For Native American communities, language is far more than a tool for communication. It is the heart of their identity, a vessel through which sacred traditions, teachings, and cultural values are passed down. Yet, due to centuries of forced assimilation and changing ways of life, many native languages are now endangered. According to the Administration for Native Americans, there are 245 distinct indigenous languages in the United States, but many of them are on the brink of extinction. Recognizing the critical state of their languages, tribal communities, alongside educators and linguists, have launched revitalization efforts to preserve and restore their mother tongues. Community-focused programs, such as language immersion schools, and initiatives like the Native Language Immersion Initiative are rebuilding fluency among younger generations. These efforts are not only preserving languages, but also reviving the cultural practices and spiritual teachings embedded within them. The dream catcher, a symbol that has transcended its origins to become widely recognized today, was born from the spiritual traditions of the Ojibwe people. Delicately woven from willow hoops and adorned with feathers, the dream catcher is believed to act as a sacred guardian, filtering out bad dreams while allowing good ones to pass through and bless the sleeper. According to Ojibwe legend, the design of the dream catcher mirrors a spider's web, symbolizing wisdom and the interconnectedness of all beings. The feathers that hang from the web are said to gently carry good dreams to the dreamer. while the bad dreams are caught in the web and dissipate with the morning light. For the Plains tribes, the buffalo was life itself. This majestic animal provided everything the tribes needed to survive in the harsh environments of the Great Plains. The buffalo's meat sustained them during the long winters, providing vital nourishment for entire communities. Its hides were used to create sturdy, weather-resistant teepees that served as portable homes for these nomadic peoples. Every part of the buffalo was utilized. Its bones were fashioned into tools, its tendons became thread, and even its bladder was used to store water. The deep reverence the Plains tribes held for the buffalo reflected their understanding of their symbiotic relationship with nature. They took only what they needed and wasted nothing, embodying a way of life that honored the spirit of the buffalo and the balance of the natural world. In many native cultures, the concept of two-spirit reflects a sacred balance between masculine and feminine energies. The term, which emerged in the 1990s, describes individuals who embody both masculine and feminine qualities, and historically, they have been held in high regard within their communities. Two-spirit people often played unique roles, serving as healers, visionaries, artists, and warriors. They could perform tasks traditionally assigned to both men and women, and their contributions were considered vital to the well-being of the tribe. Today, the term two-spirit continues to honor the spiritual and cultural significance of these individuals, celebrating their place within Native tradition and the rich diversity of gender identities that exist across Native communities.